Excuse me. A male voice comes from behind, and a dashing man stands behind me, looking directly into my eyes. He is tall, muscular, but definitely not an alpha. I'm Lewis, beta of Alpha Nathaniel. I'm here tonight in his absence. May I perhaps have this dance? He asks politely, holding his hand out to me. My eyes flick over to the dance floor where Nick and Tiffany are swaying in each other's arms, lovingly, and a source of anger just takes over, followed by wanting revenge. I'd love to. I take his hand and put my glass down on the table. What's wrong? You're tense, Lewis points out, claiming my attention back. Oh, it's nothing. I shrug it off. Nick is not allowed to do this. He can't have us both and he won't let her go. So it's time he lets me go. I am beautiful. I can find another man if I want. Does it have something to do with the man glaring at me? He snorts, and I'm confused as to why he finds it funny. That's my mate, I gulp, expecting him to stop dancing with me and run off. Alpha Nick. He says his name like he knows him. Do you know him? I know of him, he shrugs. And you aren't scared? I frown, and suddenly a surge of power radiates off him, something only someone of higher power could obtain. He pulls me closer, his face next to mine. Do you feel that? He whispers, his lips brushing my ear. I nod, as I'm at a loss for words. He's a beta, but has more power than Nick. Do you know what I am? His fingers run up and down my spine slowly. He's a lichen. The lichen omegas are of the same power as normal alphas. Calm down, he breathes out as he watches Nick approach us. Who are you? Nick seethes, his hands fisted by his sides. Beta of Alpha Nathaniel. He smiles at Nick graciously. A beta? Nick's voice is filled with amusement. His tongue slides across his bottom lip before he cracks his neck to the side. Step aside. She's mine. He growls, and Lewis stops dancing and lets me go. Oh, then who's the brunette over there? Also mine. Nick growls, and Lewis's eyebrows raise as he smiles. Which is your real mate? Lewis steps closer, and Nick's eyebrows raise as he takes on this challenge. Please stop. We were just dancing. I look at Nick, who just shrugs me off. Tiffany, he grits out, and my heart aches. And go dance with her. Lewis grits out, and he suddenly pulls me into his side, glancing at me with a caring look. I'll make sure Jessica here has the best night of her life. My cheeks heat, knowing what I meant, and Nick throws a punch, which results in me being hit too, and I shriek, and my lip is split open, and Lewis just stumbles back with a bruise to his cheek. Lewis doesn't look at Nick, he only looks at me, and then turns to him when he sees the blood dripping from my lip. Come home with me. I know someone who can get it out. But we have to hurry. He shrugs, and even though every part of me was telling me not to go with him, that Nick would be pissed beyond repair, I nod, and we leave. But when we arrive at his pack, I stare amazed at the building. It looks like an old castle. He opens my door and takes my hand, leading me inside the pack house that is pitch black. Lewis, is that you? A deep voice comes from the top stairs. Yes, Nate, Lewis yells. Let's get you something to wear. We head up the stairs and I inhale a musky scent that makes me tingle. What's that smell? I ask Lewis without hesitation. He turns to me, his arched brows furrowing together. The sweaty smell. Must be Nate, my alpha. But please call him Alpha Nathaniel. He doesn't like strangers calling him Nate, or anyone else. The door opens and Lewis stands there, his eyes trailing me standing in his shirt. You are tiny, aren't you? He comes inside, holding out his hand, and I take it. Let's get that dress fixed. He grins and leads me down the hall again. Before taking the first step, a clearing of a throat makes us stop. Lewis, who's this? Alpha Nathaniel's voice makes a shiver run down my spine, and Lewis turns first. Jessica. He smiles, and before he could explain anything, I turn, freezing when our eyes lock. My lips part as I stare into Alpha Nathaniel's beautiful olive orbs. His entire body language changes, his laid-back look now tense. "Mate," he growls lowly, and I gasp, fear and excitement mixing inside of me.